3.
What did it do?
Cool. Live.
Oh, this is...
Are we live?
Yes, we live, Mark.
It's just the last time we live.
No, this is not the last time we
Is this
live.
the last time we're live in campaign 1, hey?
Well,
Oh,
no,
okay.
because that was no,
Oh,
because technically we're not playing. We're just asking questions. Campaign 1's over.
Yeah, and the whole other thing. Yeah, but we got a bit of a...
And Moses said, "Come at me, bro."
Right? Yeah.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a special and unique episode of Critical Hit. With campaign 1 having drawn to a close in last week's session, quite an interesting one for those people that would be interested in listening to stream. Please do find it. It is on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel if you would like to listen to it. It was quite an interesting one, and the twist at the end was there for everybody's enjoyment and amusement. And for the last time, guys going to go around and introduce yourself and the character you played in campaign 1. And yeah, then we'll just dive into. I've got some questions from one of the players. Hopefully we'll add a bit of a time in as well when they get a chance. And we'll get some questions from some of our listeners from overseas, which we're going to also answer some of those questions. So yeah, let's get stuck in with. Oh, and before we actually go, we've got a shout out to have to give. First of all, I have to give a shout out to Gareth. Gareth is responsible, guys, if you're not aware of. He's responsible for streaming our sessions onto Facebook. So I just want to thank Gareth for all his effort he's put into campaign 1. It's been really great having somebody able to put the world of Monolith out for the masses to listen into.
The keyword is reliable.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to give another shout out to Mike. Actually, our shout out goes to Mike and Gareth, who since joining our lovely band of adventurers have actually changed the way we do things, and they were the ones that encouraged us to go and start streaming our session. So again, thanks to these two people. I also want to give a shout out to Philip, who, if nobody knows, Philip actually owns a comic book store and magic store in Germiston called Sad Robot. He stocks a lot of magic cards and D&D books. So if anybody's interested, look him up on the internet. I'm sure if you mention that you've listened to Critical Hit, I'm sure Philip will hook you up with a good deal. Hey, Philip?
I will always hook everybody up with good deals. Just ask my friends.
Yeah.
Sad robot, sad robot.
Sad robot, man.
Give another shout out to Werner, who's been pretty much in the background in most of the time, but came to the forefront and last week became the true version of Dungeons and Dragons by playing a dragon for part of the combat. So kudos to that for Werner for coming up with that idea. And the last shout out goes to my longest playing partner in the group, and that's Lee, who's been with me since he first started playing D&D, first 3.5, and then with the move over to 5th Ed. So Lee as well, kudos and shout out to you. Thanks for sticking through for the last nearly 5 years, huh?
Cool.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have the Booby Man with us.
He'll still be with us for at least. He'll still be with us for
Not the
at least 2 years.
Boogie Man, the Booby Man.
Booby Man.
The Booby Man.
The Booby Man, not the Boogie Man.
Alright, so last time, let's go Gareth, take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm Gareth. I played Gimli Underfrost, a paladin cross monk, and he's been through it all. That's all I can say, man. He's seen it all.
Yeah,
He's seen it all.
he's seen both sides of the world, eh?
Right, 100%. And I pass it on to my dear friend and comrade in crime, VMAC, also known as Mike.
Thank you. My name is Mike, everyone. I play VMAC, the Goliath Barbarian. Set on a mission to extinguish the flame of evil, and god damn it, if I do dare say so myself, I extinguished that flame the other day. I'm very proud of it. So, yeah, VMAC's all about resolution and resolve. I'll pass it on to my good friend Werner.
Cool. Hi everyone, this is Banner. Yeah, so my last character I played was Everson. Oh well, no, a dragon actually, but yeah. Well, the whole campaign thing, I played what? 3 characters now.
3 in total, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the few that actually hasn't chopped and changed characters much.
Yeah, first was a druid, then obviously a wizard, and my last character was the cleric. Yeah,
Your
and that's
cleric
about it.
dragon, yeah. Okay. Pass on.
How's it, guys? My name is Philip. I played Sir Daggart Stone. As you all know, his task was set before him. His mission was clear and true. There was black knights and dragons, and he did kill Val, and that's where I leave it.
Nice one, Gareth! Nice one! Guys, can we
And I pass it on to Lee.
Can somebody post in the comics the link to Stad Robot's website anyway, if you don't mind? Anybody?
I'll do that. I'll do that.
There you go.
Website. Cool, and then lastly, Lee for the final time.
Right, my name is Lee and I played Milfanso, who liked them boobies. And he was a assassin.
Are you trying to get bonus XP before campaign 2 starts, Lee?
I can only try, but yeah, I can't get any more until the next campaign.
Other than
Yeah.
these 12 questions and the questions I got from overseas participants, has anybody else got some questions or things that they've been burning to ask the DM? Because now is your
Yeah, if
opportunity.
it lasts for more than 6 hours, should I consult a doctor?
Definitely. And if it's
Yeah,
also
that's
going
not a good
green
sign.
and black, maybe you should take it. You shouldn't stand on it so hard.
But come see me. I'll tell you to take 2 of these and come see me again in the morning.
Just make sure it's not the blue book.
But I don't think it will do him any harm, though.
Well, that's up to you guys.
I was
Are you
thinking
going
about
to-
deception times, but I guess you guys just revealed your age.
Yeah. What, Gareth? Sorry.
I can't remember what I was going to say.
Are you going to?
oh, I was going to say, is Philip going to help you relieve the pressure? You know, I don't know.
That's what you do, isn't it?
Heard. There you go.
Speaking of age.
Good stuff, guys. Alright, I'll go with these questions.
Yeah,
first.
so I will say this, my little sad robot thing. Apparently Discord won't allow me to post 21,000 characters, so I had to make it shorter.
You gotta be sure. you mean they capped the limit on Discord? So,
Yeah, to 2,000 characters apparently.
yeah.
I like it, though. I love it. I love it.
I love it as well.
I'll give you a thumbs up for that one.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, before we go through these questions and the overseas ones, does anybody want to say anything?
Let's go with the questions and let's see if we come up with any other questions while going
Okay.
through it.
What was Rakshan doing at the mines when they were trying to okay. This is the one that has the Brokeback Mountain reminiscence, hey Lee?
Yes.
This is with you and your rogue, and if I remember correctly, Jingy's Captain Reynard. You guys formed a sort of a love scheme to distract the guards, and that's how you guys escaped.
Correct.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
so she was just mining a vein of, not a pure vein, but a good vein of the ore. That's the main reason she was in the mine. What are the red robes about? The red robes indicate your position in the cult. If you're wearing a red robe, you're considered a lesser person. If you're a green robe, you're slightly higher up. But if you're part of the soldiers or the inner workings, you don't need to wear a robe. The soldiers under Rakshan's command, she never really had soldiers under her command. They were primarily being controlled by Velden, but Rakshan knew exactly what they would be doing. Okay. Does Rakshan have apprentice or apprentices? I refuse to answer that question.
Monolith Season 2 is coming.
In the book, why were we not introduced to Rakshan's sister? If I'm not mistaken, the book it mentioned Rakshan was an only child. Okay, first of all, the book was actually a diary of Rakshan. So she was making her own notes. She only found out about Val's existence much later on, her sister's existence. So that's why she had there's no mention of her sister throughout the whole diary.
Oh,
So that was
also,
that's kind of sad, bro.
yeah.
but also
What's
she
that?
never revealed herself to her sister, right?
Exactly.
No, well, that would be what you call incest, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, possibly. Okay, Lee, this question, I think you and Verna would be interested to know the answer to. The madam who was working in Sky's store, this lady that gave us the feast, her husband was the guard killed. I can't remember. Who was she working for? She was working for Rakshan. Okay.
Okay.
If madam had captured us, how would that affect the story if we hadn't blown up Sky's store? Well, luckily as a DM, I don't really have to answer that because I had to change a lot of the story. If you remember, after the destruction of Sky Store, we skipped the session. Because I had to reinvent a whole lot of the new storylines thanks to Lee.
Go, Lee blew up the entire world.
If I hadn't blown up Castle and we were
The
captured,
problem with that is,
they had
as a DM, I don't really have to let you in on that because the story was being written as that happened. I
Yes,
had to
Barry
change
Allen.
it.
Right?
Messing with the
Timelines. Fuck me,
So
right?
that's flashpoint exercise.
Right.
Okay, why did Bob?
I have two fathers, what the fuck?
Why did Bob not go after us once he saw Ona being killed? He
I answered
relies
that,
on her command to do things.
Sorry?
He relies on her command to do things. In actual fact means Gimli probably could have given him a command and he might have done something once Rakshan was dead. That's the
I
campaign
prefer my
ended.
theory.
Anyway. Yeah?
I want to put on the group.
But-
About audio. It's a
But-
boring animal. It lives on the ground. It uses vibrations and sound. Can't
Yeah.
see shit.
That needs
Tremor.
correction. Yeah. Okay, next question. What items did you guys miss in most of the mines? A shitload. Yeah, and that's what I'm going to leave it at.
You could have gone with your mom.
Why was Rakshan killing all the ladies with white hair? Okay, interesting one. The people with the white hair, the reason why she was killing them is she was harnessing their essence to prolong her life.
Wait, hold on. When the fuck was she killing people with white hair, bro?
Okay, so further on before you guys joined, Rakshan was actually,
sessions.
there was the cult of Rakshan was actually sacrificing maidens with white hair.
You know what? You know what? You know what, Anthony? I'm gonna say fuck you, right? Because no, right? Because Gimli is now wiser, and he has a thing called hindsight. It's a new ability he got when he reached level 17. It's called hindsight, right? Right. When Gimli went back in time, and I touched Rakshan, I
Yeah.
didn't feel good.
Ooh,
I felt
you
evil,
also said that.
That's
You also
correct,
said
yeah.
that about
which by then should have given me a clue that hold on, this chick's bad.
But you didn't really act on it because she was actually helping you at some point.
Yes, that's why. But like I should have gone. Something's not right here. I should have. That's what I'm saying. Hindsight, right?
And now you say
It's-
hindsight, using hindsight ability now.
Right. Oh yeah, because you only got it at level 17. You only got it after you killed
I'm
Rakshan.
gonna
Yeah.
say-
I was like,
I'm
oh.
gonna say, Gareth, fuck you, bro. Because
Fuck
you
you.
should have seen this coming.
No, I did, right? No, I did, hey? Oh wait, yeah, wait, I
You have
did.
the hindsight there, right?
Right, I did see it coming, right?
Okay, next one.
Vicious.
Why did Shamazar not bring us all to a point to thank us of this restoring balance to Monolith by getting rid of the evil? Well, is the evil already gotten rid of, Lee?
Oh shit!
Ever gotten rid of?
Oh shit!
No, evil will never die.
Exactly.
There must always
What
be
were the
evil for there
green
to be
robes
good.
and
There
red
always
robes that
must
we
be a
found?
balance
Yeah.
in the spectrum
Yeah,
of
yeah,
morality.
that's true. The robes you guys found in the innkeeper's room, Lee, goes back to the red and green robes that I earlier mentioned. It's just he's got a few, they're not just all his. Okay? If you warn them, would anything different have happened? Well, you might have gone on a sort of interesting, different sort of mission through some of the parts of the campaign if you had warned them. Provided you obviously had passed all your checks and that, then yeah, definitely. I think that covers your questions, Lee, unless there's anything else you want to know. Lee?
See?
Oh, sorry
Yeah.
guys, I was in the bathroom, right?
Your name is not Lee, man.
No, I'm just
your
saying,
name
like,
is Mark when
this
not
whole
said.
time.
Lee,
This,
anything
oh, sorry,
you
I'll
want
say
to
it
ask,
like
Ed?
me.
Or are you okay with those 12?
Yeah, perfect for those 12.
Okay. Anybody else want to ask?
Yes, I have a question. I want to ask the real questions. Not, I don't want to pussyfoot around the issues here, man. Let's get to the
Okay.
bottom of this campaign. Anthony, name the top 3 moments that almost broke you as a DM, where you wanted to just fucking quit or just call it a day.
Destruction of Scarstore. Jonathan's character getting his intimidation roll right in the prison. And
Werner's rope of his cloak of
No. No.
I could get around that. No, it's got to be the fight in the above the ore pit when Mark you got the nat 20 and removed the guy's head before the combat actually got underway.
Oh, that was that other dude.
Fudge, man, I forgot his name. But I carried his head the whole time, man.
Yeah, that was like
Beastly, wasn't it, no?
that it's like
Beastly. That's right.
Beastly. Yes, when you guys defeated Beastly, it's like for me that was like fuck this, I'm not interested. And if you can ask me when they destroyed Skystore, I was you can ask me, he saw it. I was literally shaken. Do you remember that, Lee?
I don't.
Lol.
It's a long time
It was a
ago.
Saturday afternoon. It was a long session. We played on a Saturday afternoon, and Lee and the guys went not once, not twice, 3 times. They said he was told there is volatile liquid, and he goes I cast thunderclap or thunder wave or whatever it is.
So the fact that Gimli almost destroyed not just Scarstall but the entire
No,
fucking
you
world.
created-
No, but
You created a sun inside a black hole that's being consumed by another black hole.
Oh,
That's what you did.
sure.
Okay, so that's my 3. I'm now going to ask each one of you. Gareth, what would you say in the time you joined the campaign from until the last session? What would be your most defining moment as a player?
Defining moments as a player.
Yeah.
Yo, I don't know. That's something that I should ask you,
Are you on
man.
the spot now?
No, I get you. I just throw it back at you guys just to see. It's interesting to know.
Yo.
I want to hear. Okay, hold on. What
Okay.
did you say? What was the best moment in the campaign that made you feel that you forgot it was a campaign? It was you and your character. It was the hence defining moment
Yeah,
where
it's like
you
the
were
story,
attuned
like,
with
for you
your
the
character.
story seems to
Can I be honest with you? Can I be honest with you, right? So I loved my first character. What is his name? Oh, anyway, doesn't matter, right? It was serious something, man. But Mike and our first character, I loved him, right? And I love Gimli, but in all honesty, the character that I had the most fun with, and I feel like I should have maybe stuck around with him, was my Furbolg rogue.
Oh God!
When Sir Daggard and VMAC were having this battle, and I'm just walking through. like all the guards, and I'm like, hello.
Was smashing pumpkins.
Right. And I'm just like, hello everybody, hello. Right. I've got to admit that was probably one of my favorite characters and favorite moments in the campaign.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have existed if not for something your previous character had done just before that.
Oh, you're talking about the Kinku?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Kinku was cool as well. I like the Kinku. But my Furbolg was honestly, I even asked Mike a few times. I was like, bro, if Gimli dies, I'm bringing him back. So
Okay.
yeah.
Lee, what did you say was your defining moment?
I've got a lot.
Well, pick one that really stands out in your mind. Forget about the destruction of Skystore. That's been hashed and been analysed to pieces, and forget about the fact that you destroyed half the party in the bowls and waste. Let's move on.
Oh Jesus Christ! Oh, I told, bro, that was actually
Defining moment.
no, like you know when something traumatic happens in your life that your brain automatically blocks it out.
Yeah.
I had completely forgotten about that until you brought it up.
I'm so sorry about that.
Because he was also fucking cool, my character. Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh.
So what is it, Lee?
Okay, as I said, I've got two. I think my favorite one. I think one of my favorite characters was Russian's pet Dookie.
Oh, Dookie. Yeah, Dookie was fine actually.
And I'd say the second was when
That's it, Gimli, Sir Brighton, Gareth. That's it.
Yeah.
and I think
Sorry?
and then I think defining moments in late in the campaign where I managed to get my rogue doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Oh
Right.
yeah, your two quick backstabs.
Yeah, was poisoning the water and the beer, and going behind the bad guys and whacking them from behind.
Yeah, I'd say doing two critical hits with a backstab, I'd say would be your defining moment as well. Definitely. Yeah, I agree on that one. Mikey.
Oh, I don't know what to say, man. I've also got a few, and I can't quite pinpoint it. I mean,
Oh, you
I
can put
think-
one or two out there if you
I
choose to.
think-
Guys, listen, if I log off suddenly
Sure.
at 8 o'clock, I will switch to my cell phone. Just give me a few minutes because I'm scheduled to be load shedded at 8.
well, I'd say one of the first defining moments would have been when my rogue managed to bypass an entire sequence in a level by going in for the kill for the captain of the entire town and getting everybody to run away before they got murdered by a horde of soldiers.
That's
It was the
actually, for
first
me,
time
it's probably the best sequence that your goblin ever did.
Yeah, it honestly felt like the first time I ever played a character truly to his potential.
Yeah?
And I got lucky, man. And after that, I'd say maybe, obviously, VMAC. He had quite a few defining moments as a character, man. But obviously, ending the campaign and naming the channel that we host the campaign, critical hit, and ending it on a critical hit with a net 20 and a percentile net 100 was something that truly stumped me, man. And if that's not defining, then what is?
Well, you got the true meaning of critical hit last week, so yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Philip.
Oh wow, Anthony. There's been so many. I think character-wise, I loved Thanos. Thanos was something fresh, something new, something you didn't know what to expect from him next, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, considering that you joined very late in the campaign, if you remember. I mean, you joined with us in April last year when lockdown was at its peak.
And he was thrown
Yeah.
in the deep end.
Yeah, I was thrown at the deep end, and I think when I stumped the entire group is when I did that thunder wave where I took out, when was that, 10 or something odd flying fucking dragon bird
God,
things,
yes, I
and then
remember
everybody
that.
was just quiet, and I think that was an awesome moment. But I think my best moment for Thanos is when that interaction I had with Gimli, where I raised the dead. And I ran up to Gimli and I said, "Did you see? The dead has returned." I think that was like fucking insane. I really loved that moment.
It's like poking the dog.
Yeah.
Gimli was not impressed.
No, of course he was not impressed. But
That was the point.
But that was cock. But those are the things that you got from Thanos when I played Thanos, and I think. Sir Daggett Stone, although I started playing with him and I didn't really like the character, I think I grew nicely into the character, and I must say by far, he's probably one of my best characters. that I've
Bro,
played.
there were actually so many moments when Gimli.
So many moments.
When Gimli tried to intimidate the one prisoner by putting his axe against the prisoner's throats and trying to roll intimidation, instead the prisoner went, okay, and then pushed himself down onto the axe. And Gimli was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there was lots of moments like this in the campaign, and I think my achievement was, at the end of the day, I was completely stumped when you told me I took out Val with those 8 hits. So I don't think it was going to be that easy, but I was completely stumped, and I think the entire group was stumped that Val fell so quickly.
So easily.
Yeah, so easily. But yeah, I
If you
love.
remember correctly, guys, you never really actually fought Val properly until then.
But every time we did try to fight her, she had this ability. We did damage to her, and nothing would happen. I remember the UNT that Gareth played.
Yeah, the UNT
really
Pure Blood.
attacked her the one moment, yeah, and nothing happened to her.
Because
But then again, Thanos offered to have a drink with her. Come on, man, fucking hell, man. Can you remember in the tent when they were sitting down there? So yeah, there's just too many moments for me, Anthony. That was amazing.
No, but you guys, you got to understand that if you think about it, I mean, Philip joined us in April and had such an impact for joining us. You know, with whatever you did, you really impacted the campaign. I'm really glad that we got to know you, and you know, and thank God we got the lockdown levels lifted to a point so I could actually finally meet the person that had created 2 fantastic characters in my campaign. So kudos to you on that. For me personally, yes, Thanos was nice, but I preferred Sir Dagon Stone much more.
I think Thanos was more mischievous than what Sir Dagon Stone was, and he had this element of you don't know what he's going to do next. With Sir Dagon Stone, you know what he was going to do. So
you know exactly what Dagon Stone was going to do because he used to declare it before he did it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, there was no surprise. I am going to extinguish evil. Here I go. Bang, attack.
Yeah, just attack. Yeah, that's he did what he did good, and that's it. That's what I loved about him.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Werner. What would you say was your defining moment or moments?
I'm not sure about defining moments, but I can remember some fun moments, I would say.
Okay.
I would say, well, with Angel, my druid, I think just the ability to be able to listen in on conversations while being like in a form of a small spider or insect or something was quite interesting.
You did it a few times, if I remember correctly, yeah. You got some valuable information to help the party, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was a quite fun gameplay, and of course, Pebbles, I would have to mention.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the cat.
Yeah, the cat. I remember that.
Archon, yeah, quite a while back.
I remember the cat, the way you got it, you got the whole world, and whose pet was the cat you pretending to be?
It was Jonathan's character back then, I'm sure it
Jonathan's
was.
character was making money with the cat, that's right.
Yeah,
Look at the cat, can do tricks and everything, and I remember that now. Yeah, jeez, guys.
Yeah, and I got really high on my charisma roll or something, performance check.
Yeah, and your performance and everything was very good, I remember that now.
But interesting. Archon, I would say, well, I don't remember much, but for some reason he always wasn't willing to escape somehow. Even mass destruction, all those things.
If I was giving a medals out now, the escape artist medal would go to Archon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely to Archon, without a doubt.
Also, one thing about
I remember when we played on the table in real life together. I remember moments when like people would just like panically look over at Werner and hope that he would just save their character.
Yeah,
I know I was one of them.
Yeah. I think if I have to give out medals, I'd say definitely escape artist goes to Archon. Most comical and most fun character that I encountered from you guys, I would actually have to say, and he's not here, he stopped playing with us, but I would say Jonathan's Zork. Do you remember Zorky?
Oh, what? Hang on. Are you including in that equation Thorin in the mental asylum?
Okay, then maybe the award can be shared between the two. Okay, you guys can share the award then.
No, I'll give it to Jonathan.
And I think definitely, without a doubt, one award has to go to Philip, always finding the right phrase to say in the most
Inopportune time. Inopportune time.
inopportune moment. You just come up with a saying or a phrase. The puns from your character, actually not just the character, I think more, I'd say the player alone. They just flowed out of you. And the thing is, the party fed off of it, which is nice.
Yeah.
The players fed
Thank
off
you.
of it.
Thank you, Anthony. Thanks, man.
That really...
Can I give one medal out after this?
Yeah?
I want to give out the bro medal, and that goes to my bro Gareth, because you always had my back when I came up with a crazy idea, bro. Always
Well
had
done.
my back, man.
Well done, Gareth.
Aww.
And there are...
Would
for
you
me,
like to?
there's-
Would you like me to feed you again? I'm just asking. Man.
Never leave a man behind, badge.
I cast Bacon of Hope.
Oh,
I only say, would you like me to feed you again? Because the very first session that Mike and I had, he had a what did you have? A gnome.
No, it was a dog.
Yeah.
Was
No,
a
it was a
gnome.
gnome.
No,
It
it
was
was a
a
gnome. Yeah, right, the gnome.
The one that got squashed by the dragon.
Yeah, and I had the Dragonborn Eldritch Knight, and the first thing we did is I picked his character up and I fed him.
Yeah, I remember that. Because like within the first 5 minutes that you guys were playing at my table, you did that.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
Pretty much, man.
remember that.
Yeah, that takes us back to quite a ways. But I must just say, if I want to talk about some cinematic moments, you know, Mike, you've mentioned it a few times. I think there's one that still stands out to me, and that has got to be when VMAC and Gimli strap themselves to the catapult on the airship.
Oh,
They launched
Jesus.
themselves into
Yeah,
the air.
how was that, man?
That was beautiful.
That was good. Good.
That was beautiful.
I mean, that to me, the chance, you know, there was a percentage chance you were about to lose 2 characters, and the dice rolls were
Yeah,
in your favor.
and we played our cards. We actually like had a moment where we're
What
like,
about
okay,
what about Philip charging with his horse from
Yeah,
the neck?
same. You know, to me, when a player takes a risk and it pays off, that's something that we always remember. That's why those 2 will always stand out, because both of them took a risk. I mean, Philip, you charging with that horse, you could have missed the ship, and
Yeah, I could have missed, but luckily the dice
roll
roll.
would not have died,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't have been as exciting a moment.
He would have feather falled.
That's what I say. He wouldn't have died.
But yeah, I mean, those are the, like you say, those are the moments that stand out in the campaign. But there's a lot of those moments when we were all struggling to roll our athletics checks, when we're trying to go through the mine, and all of us failing, and all of us hiding on ropes. I mean,
That was a
it's
terrible
insane
session.
stuff. That was a terrible session, but you know what? It sticks to
Everybody
mind.
hated
It sticks to
But it
mind because we
created-
all
it created
sucked
this-
so much.
It created the tension.
Yeah, it
Because
did.
it got to the point that you guys were like, we got to succeed in this, or we're all, you know? It's like, it pulled you guys all together to work together for a common purpose.
Yeah,
But talking about taking risks and knowing consequence, I learned my lesson hard with Thor.
Yeah? How, Mike?
Sorry guys, I got disconnected.
When he ran through the door and all you heard was thwack, thwack,
Yeah.
thwack, 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 thwack.
I was so irritated with Jingy because it was
Oh,
taking so
God,
long
yeah.
to figure out the puzzle, and I literally told them how to solve the puzzle from the beginning, and they spent half an hour trying to figure it out. Eventually came to the same conclusion, and I was like, no, enough, and I ran through.
Enough.
And then Anthony just goes, fluck, 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 your character's dead. And I like, dude, I was so salty. I was
you
so
were pissed-
salty.
You were pissed off. I remember you were very
I
unhappy
was
there.
so upset. I was hit by a 18-tonner.
Yeah, no, I guarantee. Okay. We didn't get too many from the international people that have been watching, but our long-time follower from Russia, I'll never pronounce the person's name, he just has one question. If you guys could do something differently again in the campaign, what would it have been, and what would you hope the outcome would have been?
To stay far away from Lee when he puts shit in the bag of holdings. That's for one.
I have a one that I've been thinking quite a lot about, and that's the possibility of us having started a flying pirate fleet that we never seized an opportunity on.
You actually didn't. You're right.
And I would have loved to see what would have happened with a fleet of flying pirate ships. That would have been dope.
Yeah, that would be dope.
That would have been really not just dope. I think it would have just really changed the whole storyline. I mean, you guys could have gone on a whole side quest and made some money off of it.
Right.
Which reminds me, speaking about money, before we take into account, Philip, let me say, before we take into account Sir Dagon Stone's current wealth, how much would you estimate the party's actually worth after that battle, excluding Sir Dagon Stone's English?
Millions, I would guess.
$1 million gold.
Yeah, you're not far off.
Well,
Eh? You're not far off at all. Quite wealthy, in other words. I mean, the party could really easily set themselves up for the future with ease. But that's a different story.
Listen, I just want to say, right? I just want to say one thing. Right? Dwarves live for about 400 years. Gimli was only about 100 and something. All I'm going to say is he's still probably around in campaign 2 somewhere. I don't know.
No, he had a fishing accident.
No, I mean he doesn't have to come in, but he's probably still alive.
Can't swim.
He's
Dwarves can't swim.
Dwarves can swim, of course they can.
No, they sink to the bottom.
No, Gimli can swim because he's quite dexterous.
Isn't Gimli with the dragon?
With the dragon?
Oh.
Why would I be with the dragon, bro?
Didn't we take Gimli
That's Keegan's
to the
old
dragon?
character.
Yeah, didn't we?
That's Keegan's old character.
Keegan's old character, yes.
King is old character, man.
Yeah, the gold dragon.
Okay, I'm on my phone. We've been load shedded.
Nice.
Sorry, Anthony.
Good save.
No,
You get +5. You get +5.
I get a +5 on the save. Thanks. From who?
From Gimli, of course, the paladin.
Okay.
My next paladin, Anthony. My next paladin.
Your next paladin. Okay, sorry, Mark. I missed that whole thing. You said what would you have done differently? Oh, that
The pirate fleet.
the pirate thing. Okay. All right. Cool. Anybody else want to chime in?
You know how good that would have. Suited Thanos, because Thanos came from a background of being a pirate and he sailed on ships and things like that, and he was awesome at reading maps and all of those type of things, and he had that navigational tools, and so that probably would have worked nicely, eh? That would have gone off well.
Another thing maybe that we could have done differently might have been try to get more information on Russian.
I don't know. Our interaction sometimes with Rakshan was very short and very abrupt, was it not? I think Werner spent most time with Rakshan out of all of us.
He did, and Jingy's character, Captain Reynard, did.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two characters.
Yeah, but we also went into the library and not just, and we couldn't. I don't think we were able to pick up any information there.
Yeah, you're right. And there's also one thing that we didn't follow through on, and I think it was me, Lee, and Keegan that we didn't go through with searching out these thieves guilds and getting entwined with them.
Oh, there would have been stuff to locate.
Yeah, of course there would have been. I know we did 1 or 2 sessions where we said we want to go through the thieves guilds and things like that and get into contact with them, and we kind of forgot that, eh? I think that's when we went to, what was that world where we saw this Mirage and VMAC, we just saw him running and we didn't see him again? Where all the sand was?
That was the Balls and Wastes.
Oh, the Bolton Waste, that's right, yes.
You remember
And
you
then
ran into
after
the
that,
barrier, and when you got onto the other side of the barrier, it was all overcast and clouds and rain and everything.
Yeah, and from there we kind of forgot that.
You never told me what the wizards did in the battle, but it's okay. I'll let it slide.
They never pitched up, Mike.
Oh no, and then that changes the timeline, bro. That
Yeah,
changes the
Shamala's
timeline. There will be a purge. There will be a
Shamala's
purge,
told
bro. I'm
them
just
they
saying.
should not be there, man. Should not be
Give me
there.
1 sec.
I think your 1 second is up, Anthony.
Yeah, done, dusted.
Done. Gareth, what would you have changed?
Yeah, what would you have changed, Gareth?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing really, yeah.
Maybe build a better character. I don't know.
Oh! Fuck you, mister. I only have 2 good characters in me. Fuck it all.
Oh, listen to this guy now.
man, fuck it all.
Ah.
Yes,
Listen to the boast.
all
He's
my
boasting
all
about
my
it.
characters were spectacular.
No. Okay.
I will admit that there were 2 characters.
Lee, you
No.
want to chime in?
Oh, okay, no,
Got
just
something to change?
just cut me off. Okay, it's fine.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, it's
Okay.
fine.
Go ahead, Gareth.
I was just going to say there are 2 or 3 characters where I feel I put more effort into creating a background and a personality. But actual actions to change, nothing. I'm happy with everything that I did.
Nothing, eh? You
Yeah,
happy with everything
maybe
that
I wouldn't have run
was in place there?
downstairs,
Nothing that you
but
thought you could have done differently.
yeah, I maybe wouldn't have run downstairs. You know, I mean that's what your parents teach you as a child, right? Don't run downstairs. They might just disappear and you fall into a pool of melted ore. I don't know. Jesus.
And lose your character.
Right. Don't shoot an arrow of returning into the molten ore because it ain't going to return.
Yeah, that's exactly
Oh, that's a low kick.
it. Is there anything?
It was my first
Gareth, can I move
magical
on?
item.
Yeah, of course you can.
First
Yeah.
magical item.
Lee, is there anything you feel that you could have done as a player differently and would have hoped for a different outcome?
None. I think
You think you did everything? There's not much you would change, eh?
no.
Philip?
I honestly don't know. I had so much fun in the time that I joined. It doesn't really matter to me what character I play. I can play a bard, which I've never played before in my life.
So we're getting a
But
bard?
you know what? Yeah,
Oh, so
we
we're
might
getting
get
a
a
bard in
bard.
campaign two?
You might get a bard. You
Philip,
might
I
just get a
think-
bard.
I think you might be possibly.
Yeah, that's
a
something
very
else. So just
interesting
a note on that, guys. Try not to discuss your new character with the other players until the first play session
So I can't tell them about my midget dragon
Jenny.
monk.
possible. If you can.
Are you guys hearing
Yeah.
Anthony? Is it?
No,
No.
you cannot.
No,
No, I think
Remember?
don't hear him.
This bloody internet's playing up.
Yeah, it's slow.
No, it's not that. I keep losing 4G signal on my phone. It's obviously around my area. Yeah.
The cell phone tower's battery is running out.
What was I going to say? No, I say, yeah, it's better try to keep your characters a surprise for campaign 2 if you can, for the other players, if possible. Look, it's up to you. You want to share it with everybody else, great, but I think it would be nice for everybody to be surprised when the character first appears in campaign 2.
Yeah, you know, Anthony, I don't think it really matters the character that you play. Yeah, it does bring in about a different way of doing things, but I mean, we've got a good group of guys, and we like what we do, and you know, the best thing is we all get along, and we all
Which
buddies,
is
and
nice.
we all laugh together, and we all chat together, and I see most of the people on a daily basis. So I mean, which
True.
makes everything so much more fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. Werner, is there anything you feel as a player you could have done differently and would have got different results?
See, I would think I would have rather just skipped Archon until the end instead of having Everson. She wasn't a bad character, but it was just not my character, to be honest.
Yeah,
I
but
like the
you
dragon
felt-
part of
but
it,
the
but
dragon was. I think the idea behind it came is because of that whole issue that happened, which we've resolved. But I think that's the reason.
Oh.
But also, as you say, how often does a player get to actually play a dragon, in
Yeah,
Dungeons
that was
and
cool.
Dragons?
Yeah, but yeah, it comes down to the only thing with Archon was I know it annoyed the other players, but the fact was he was a coward. That's part of his backstory. And like what Gareth said last time on the stream as well. Yes, I know it annoyed the characters. That's why I technically removed him, because I couldn't play my character. Because he was always overcautious, took extra time to figure things out, and had a fight dice. And if it rolled the right number, he would have run away. That's just how he is. But that's also the fact why I
it's the
removed
way you
him.
play
Yeah.
the character, exactly.
But
Now
yeah.
I'm gonna issue a challenge to you guys for campaign 2. Yeah. I'm gonna issue a challenge to you guys for campaign 2. If you accept it, there's something good will happen to that character. If not, it's no bad thing, okay? I want you to step out of your comfort zones with the character you play, other than Lee, because Lee, you play something so well, stay with it.
So what are you telling me? I must play a bard? Never! I will never do that.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Never,
like,
I will never do that.
I don't know, man.
No, I just what I'm trying to get at is you guys, okay, especially the ones that are semi-experienced now, try playing something totally different to what you're used to playing.
Anthony, I've played like 7 different characters. Like, what?
So
Yeah.
what Anthony-
So
what
you're
Anthony's
semi-experienced, so
trying to say-
you're okay.
What Anthony
Yeah.
trying to say is that, guys, the first round of characters are gonna get fucked up and they're gonna die. So don't get attached to them. Save the
Yes.
good ones for later.
No, don't say that, Mark, because it brings me to the next thing, which I'll bring up later. Okay.
My options are quite limited. See, I was a human, and my girlfriend was a human, and my sons are human. So
Yeah, but maybe your
my
sons...
lineage, it's a lineage, or what do you call it? That's
Yeah,
pretty,
but you could still
I'll
have
be a
you could
human.
still have a half. You could still have a half elf.
Can I?
You could, because there's
Yeah.
nothing saying that one of your sons doesn't get involved with an elf.
So what is it like? The top half is human,
Or an
bottom half is
orc? I'm just saying, man.
Okay, I'll play an orc fighter.
No, half orc, man.
Look, I did change something there. I'm an orc.
He's an orc. All right. Okay. Cool. Here's another question from overseas.
How much for a ticket?
No. No. Your impressions of what do you all feel were your impressions of the final battle? Do you think it played out the way you were expecting, or did it catch you guys completely off guard?
No, it was completely off guard, Anthony. There was nothing natural about the last battle.
So I had a backup plan that I, like with everyone that I told. I was like, guys, it all comes down. Vimek cannot die. He's got relentless rage. He'll just grapple Val, and then Sir Daggerstone, you deal the final blow and impel us both, and then somehow we fucking, perpetually in that semi-dead state, and her being constrained. That was as far as I could go with the plan, and what happened really didn't play out like.
Yeah. We had plans for this last battle, man, and obviously, as we played it that night, those plans changed on an instant.
Yeah, obviously, because the situation changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the final twist in the campaign, other than Gareth and Lee, who seemed to think no, it was coming, what did the other three think?
Look, I thought there was shit coming. I honestly think that Val is coming back, and maybe as undead or I don't know. I just thought, man, Val couldn't get down so quickly, and I was just thinking she was coming back. So that was what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, I know Mark was a bit rattled because it took a while for you to actually fathom what had just happened.
No. So I kind of like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought as a DM, it was the one avenue that you're definitely gonna be taking. So I was prepared for that. But the way and the sequence of which it happened was what stumped me, because it was like, is it gonna go that way, or is Anthony fucking with us right now? Like it was like, like I was on the fence about it. I mean, Sir Daggerstone took out Val like a muzzy, bro, and there was blood everywhere, and I was just like, what the actual fuck just happened? So, like it was just like it was like a bad chain of events that just perpetually happened till like it was the end, and it was just like we actually survived that. So
I think that was the biggest surprise to all of us, that we actually survived that.
yeah,
Yeah, but that was thanks to Mike's, well, natural 100-year-old.
Yeah, I mean,
That's-
guys, remember
Because
the
Also,
battle,
Anthony, your rolls were bad. Your
my
rolls
rolls
were
were
super
cut
bad.
last week. Yo, I have
Your
never
rolls were
rolled such
super
bad
bad.
last week.
Anthony, but
Yeah.
that gets back to one of my questions where I said, why didn't Shamlazar thank us for getting rid of Val?
Well, the campaign just
Stop the
ended,
evil,
so yeah. So
I
it's
guess
not
we're
really the
gonna get
campaign.
a synopsis when we start campaign 1. You know, so we just ground ourselves.
You mean
right?
campaign 2? Campaign 1's
Campaign
done,
two.
right?
Sorry, campaign number 2, right?
Yeah. Possibly. There's a brief
look,
look.
I want to ask the DM the same question. Like, what would you have done differently?
What do you mean?
Oh, sorry. What? Like, from your side as a DM, what would you have done different?
In
Look-
the final
looking back
battle?
yeah, looking back at it.
I'd say just in general, man.
In general,
Oh, in general, yeah. Go
if
for it.
something I could have done better or changed, whew, that's
changed.
yeah. Now you stumped me, hey.
Maybe you wish that he succeeded on that finger of death at me.
Right?
No, but I
Maybe-
could. The thing is, I couldn't because of the your immunity thanks to
Yeah,
the Shamazal's
yeah.
favor.
Yeah, correct.
Whew, it's really. I think. Oh, I know it. I know it exactly. You know when the party discovered the scrolls in the grove?
Yeah.
If I had rolled that dice behind my screen, I could have reduced the number of scrolls that the party were given.
Yeah, we still have those scrolls.
Yeah, I rolled it and I rolled a 69.
Oh,
Oh.
that reminds me about lucky chances, bro. We used all those scrolls boldly, and we went where no man ever went.
Yeah, you guys were very reckless with them, to be honest with you. You never really tried to figure a better way of utilizing them.
I was ingenious with them. What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
I gave a scroll to Gimli. I gave a scroll to the gods. I opened up 2 correct scrolls, and I became the handsomest, fucking most.
The goblin was
charismatic
amazing.
Goblin in the world, yeah.
No. I think I did pretty well with the scrolls.
But I also love the part with where we entered these coins in this little fucking give me a magical item machine. Can you remember those coins that we were throwing into this
Oh
machine?
god, yeah. We found in the one dungeon, and you kept getting cool magical items out of it.
The magic vending machine.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
magic vending machine. That was also pretty cool.
Yeah. No, there was something interesting that I was having fun with.
I think the funniest moment was when, I think it was before any of the other people joined, was when
I know which moment, Lee. Can I say it or you want to tell it?
I'll say it.
Go
Was
for
when
it.
one of the guards choked on the gold coin.
The coin.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I think the point where things turned sour is when VMAC gave one of those fire elementals a coin, right?
You want to throw it in the fire?
Yeah.
Because I was like, yeah, let me burn this body before it comes alive. And then the DM is like, yeah, by throwing it in the fire, it comes alive. And I was just like, dick move, DM.
And there was like 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
It's duplicated. Oh,
Yeah,
and then the whole
that's
party died in
definitely-
like one maneuver.
Yeah,
And
kind of like
Okay,
a
there's
regular-
I thought it
There's
was
another
really
one.
bad.
Here's
thought
another
it
one
was
from
really
our international contingent. Which NPC stands out the most to you guys, or had the most impact to you? Let's go down
Uncle.
the group. Let's start with
Uncle.
Gareth. Gareth?
Yeah.
Which
NPC.
NPC to you had the most impact, or makes you think about, or you really enjoyed interacting with?
Honestly, I think there's probably going to be an answer for most people. Maybe my personal opinion is Uncle.
Okay. Lee?
I would say one of the characters that just angered me was I think that character was killed one of my other characters. I can't remember his name. It was on the boat. That wealthy guy that brought the dragons or something like that.
You're talking about shit. Bension.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Mike,
Um,
which NPC that you've encountered, whatever sticks in your mind,
So,
somebody you had a good interactions with?
I wanna say uncle, right? But I'm not gonna go down that route because it's obvious. But I am gonna say the princess that.
I remember that.
Forcefully, to my surprise, had her way with VMAG a few times. And the first time ever, VMAG felt not fear, just powerless.
Yeah, I remember that one, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about you, Philip? Besides
I'm
Uncle?
I'm definitely gonna go for Liesel, man. I think the first time I met her, I just threw all the pickup lines I could ever muster on the website at her, and she had no reaction to them.
She just basically brushed you off, eh? Wasn't
Yeah,
interested.
exactly. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that session, that interaction with Liesel, and I think the next day I'll send you the message. Hey, we need to plan something with this chick here, man.
And look what happened. I let you go with ride with that, so.
Yeah. That was fun for me.
Werner, which NPC would you say stood out to you?
Well, NPC with the most fun and all that, I would think would have been Trickster.
I was waiting for
He
Trickster to
annoyed-
come up as an option.
It was quite fun to see some other players roam the whole time and still not listening when you tell them to do something else. But yeah, it was fun to see
Do
how
you know that I
Trickster worked with
created
them.
Trickster just because of the way Armand was playing his character?
Correct, I think Trickster was also one of Rakshan's disciples, wasn't he?
He was a disciple of Raksha,
Yeah.
yes, but not even an apprentice like you guys were asking. He was never trained with her. He was a disciple of hers, but never trained with her.
Who's the guy in the robe that taunted us when we were trapped in cages, and then eventually Keegan's character said something bad about him and they sent him away?
That was Craven, actually.
Yeah, Craven was
The Dark Elf.
The Dark
Yeah,
Elf
he-
Ranger that
he
you
was
guys
funny.
never actually got to fight.
Yeah, he was like so full of himself, and yeah.
Yeah, walking around the drow in his red armor and everything, showing off. Yeah, you guys never actually got to fight him because he managed to convince the dragon who ate him, and then gave you guys the first piece of the tablet, if I remember correctly, or it was the scroll. One
I
of the
think that
two.
was a session I missed.
Yeah, it was also that was still, and that wasn't even on. That was live. It was a live session there because
Yeah,
Edmund was
that's
still
awesome.
playing with us.
Yeah, it was.
Because Edmund was playing his monk, and you guys all climbed out the cages, and you literally climbed across the fire pits and that. Yeah, and it was quite an interesting session that one.
I think it was a session before that, actually, when the first time Arkon actually ran away. Was it the same place? I think it was. When they all captured.
Yes, same place.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, another question. Which magical item that your character currently has now would you wish you could carry forward into campaign 2? We'll take it away from Gareth.
Anthony, I'm the worst person to start with. I have nothing really. I have the basics. I have a ring of protection. I have a level 3 armor. I have no magical items.
So you don't have anything really of value that you would love to take into campaign 2 if you could, right?
Bob.
No, because Bob's not mine. Bob's independent.
Oh, I see.
Bob is an independent woman, man.
I'm just saying, it's the closest thing to something that you carry over.
If anything, I think Gimli would keep his axe. But just because it's his weapon of choice, and if he ever had to have children or any sorts, you know, he would pass it down the line as, you know, his battle axe.
Good. Right.
No, it's an heirloom. But I mean, it's not magical or anything like that. It's a +3, so I suppose it's magical in that sense.
+3 is a magical.
Yeah. So I mean,
If you got a plus on a weapon, it's considered magical.
yeah. So like, but I mean, it's not like anything special magical. You know, it's like a, yeah. Does that make sense? It's not like a.
I think.
It's not like a bracelet
so.
or a necklace that can fucking open portals or anything like that. It's a weapon of +3.
Yeah. Okay,
No.
Lee.
I would go for 2 items: boots of
Okay.
haste and +2 dagger.
Gee, I'm surprised that something didn't come up, Lee. Your famous cloak of displacement that you still saw about losing.
Yeah, but I think the boots of haste is a bit more useful.
Okay. Mike.
You know my answer, man. It's 1. I would love it in the next campaign. Suddenly my character comes upon a crevice and there's hot magma pouring out. And as it glows bright, an arrow comes out of nowhere and my character catches it, only to learn that the arrow always returns to him. That would be 1.
LOL.
Right. And then the other one obviously would be Axel. I feel that it is within the lineage to keep that soul under restraint.
Yeah, but it would be too powerful an item to give to a low-level character. So, but anyway. Philip.
Anthony, I will take Hope's End every day. I love that +3 greatsword that I had with the +1 d6 wounding. But I think if I must go back in time, I will definitely take Little Debbie over anything.
Ooh, Little
any
Debbie
day.
was. Geez, Little Debbie was fun, eh?
Yeah, Little Debbie was fun in the hands of Thanos.
Yeah.
That was a fun
definitely.
weapon to have. Yeah, so yeah, Little Debbie was pretty solid. As for the rest of it, I loved what you did with Shamalazar's favor. It's a good weapon, but it's a weapon aimed for a specific target.
Yeah,
So-
no, but obviously it can't be used again because the target no longer
So,
exists.
so I would go with Hope's End, and maybe if I'm lucky, then you would allow me to pass it along via the lineage whenever a character reaches a higher level, maybe to use something like
a
that.
high level knife level to use it.
Powerful
Possibly
weapon.
we can
Too
just you and I can have that discussion when we do your
Powerful
session 0.
weapon to
Yeah,
pass
sure.
for level 1 character. Okay.
No, I want a normal 1d8 plus whatever my strength modifier is for level 1.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Okay.
I
Werner,
spit your way.
Werner, which magical item would you say you would, if you could, would you
I
take? to
think
level
you probably
2?
already know the answer to that. The other
Yeah.
item, yeah, cloak of displacement probably saved my character's life a few times.
Plenty times. Yeah, plenty times. That and your bloody robe of the Archmage. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's going to
One
stay
of my
away for a long
biggest
while.
mistakes, but I let it go, is letting a character get that item.
Yeah, it's ridiculously powerful.
But it was dice rolls, which is why I let it go. You know,
Yeah.
one thing you guys must understand with my DMing style, if you get the dice roll and it comes in your favor, then you deserve the reward that comes with it. Simple as that. I'm not going to begrudge you that just because it messed up my game or anything. If you know what I mean. Okay, and then we've got one. Final question from our international campaign 2. This time I'll start with Werner.
Anthony, what was your question?
I'm going to ask it now. Sorry, I have to wait for my phone to get the 4G signal. The question is going to start to Werner. What are you most looking forward to in campaign
Well,
2?
logical answer would be new adventure. That's what I would guess.
Okay.
And new characters, different characters I haven't played before. Because I've played barbarians, fighters, druids, wizards, map fairies, so now it's better the other things I can bring in.
Okay,
What about a
cool.
bard?
Sounds good. Philip?
eventually
What are you
Bard.
looking for?
No,
What are you looking forward to in campaign 2, Philip?
So I've spent about 2 weeks coming up with my story for the lineage and things like that. I don't want to reveal too much, but let's just say Sir Daggett Stone was busy in his time, and he made a few sons that I'll be bringing in along with campaign 2. But let's just leave it at that. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to the adventure.
Okay.
And again, playing with you guys is, I mean, it's amazing. It's playing with you guys. We can come up with some silly things again, and just see if we can maybe catch Anthony off guard.
You do it often enough, so let's not let's be fair to me, okay?
No, fair. I'll give you that one. Sorry, Anthony. I'll try not to do it in campaign 2. Okay.
Oh, jeez, yeah. I won't hold you to it, eh?
Okay, cool.
Mike, what are you most looking forward to in campaign 2?
Pass down magical weapons to lineage.
No, that's not going to happen, but anyway,
And,
carry on.
And to essentially fuck with all of you even more.
Yeah. I think what I'll add to that for you is actually starting off with a level 1 character and
Oh,
building
yeah,
it from
that's-
scratch.
That's going to be a new challenge, eh?
Yeah.
What is
because
that damage
Mike-
dice? Oh wait, it's a D8 plus. What's your strength modifier? Oh fuck, it's 2. How many
And what's
points do
my-
you have?
and what's
Oh
my
shit,
hit
only
points?
one.
Oh, my hit points are 12. Oh shit, I better be careful in combat.
Sorry, my hit points is 9, so I'm sorry. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be adjustment.
Yeah, big
Going from
adjustments.
350 HP down to
to
10
9.
or 12.
Yeah. Lee, what are you expecting? What are you looking forward to most in campaign 2?
Look, I'm looking forward to having a lot of fun with my character. Lots of hopefully sleight of hand, and
Another rogue, eh?
He plays it well, to be honest with you guys. He plays it
No.
very well.
I agree. So
you know, you
don't
also got to remember so Lee, I don't mind too much if he stays with what he's comfortable with, because he's tried others and he hasn't been very good with them. And
successful.
no offense to Lee, but spellcasting is not his forte. He can't keep track of what he's got to be doing in combat and that. It's just too much. No offense to Lee at all. He's a good guy and everything, but I think it's just easier for him to play a character that either hack slashes or, as we say in this case, the sneaky rogue. I think he
Yeah.
plays it best.
Yeah,
No, I agree.
I enjoy the interaction with more the role play than the slashing and
And then Gareth, what are you looking forward to in campaign 2?
Are you happy now that you lost?
I'm never happy, so like it doesn't matter. Two things. Obviously playing something different. Except for the
Yeah.
paladins, I've never played a magic-based character, so I'm looking forward to maybe playing a cleric or a warlock or a sorcerer or something like that.
Okay.
And then 2 is finding out about what happened to, the rest of the party over the years.
No, that's
Like I want to know, man. Like obviously we all have to tell you at some point what we think our characters got up to, but you at the end of the day will elaborate on that, I presume.
yeah, I will. That's okay. So that goes it with our questions for the night. We're now going to delve a little bit into some of the prep for campaign 2. Based on my WhatsApp messages to you guys, I'm looking to at least do a session 0 with each one of you between now and the 26th of Feb. Okay? I'm starting with Lee this Friday. I'll communicate with everybody in due course. Best for me is during the week. Evenings is not a good fit. Things have changed slightly in my situation, so while changes underway, it's best for me to do it during lunch. So when I take my lunchtime at work, we'll spend about half an hour to about 45 minutes just thrashing out the character. Mike asked me earlier about a session 0, so I'm just going to clarify it for everybody. I know, Werner, you'll know what it is, and Lee, I've mentioned it to you briefly. But just basically and Philip, you should know what it is, hopefully. Basically what a session 0 is it's a one-on-one interaction with you and the DM. You plan the character together, you create the character together, you flesh out the backstory, you flesh out where the character's heading, and me as a DM will provide you with a little bit of insight on where and how and what's going on in the campaign, and some of the goals and some of the restrictions and stuff like that. It's basically a one-on-one conversation where we flesh out the character, the history, because one thing I would like to do in campaign 2 is I want to utilize your backstories to somehow it crops up, and if it's something bad happened to your character in your backstory, then maybe you can it has an impact in the story and you overcome something like that. And I disconnected again, didn't I?
No, I can hear you.
Okay. So that's my idea so that's basically the reason for the session 0. So because one thing I didn't do, although I tried a little bit in this campaign, one was the backstories that I did get from God. I just tried to incorporate some of the stuff into the storyline where I could. I knew very well that to play on Daggett Stone's artifact hunting, so I knew he would be keen for any magical loot that he could find. But I'm talking in general, I want to take your backstories and use those backstories as a possible mini main side quest, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Okay. With that said, after a lot of discussion, a lot of thought myself, and having looked at everything and the timing and everything, the campaign 2 is now going to be set 200 years after campaign 1.
Oh,
not
wow.
150 as I originally said.
So it is
so
grandchildren.
Wait, how many years?
So it's
200.
grandchildren.
Yeah.
Great-grandchildren.
Actually, to be honest with you, Philip, it'd probably be your great grandchild that would probably be involved.
You know my pappy Sir Daggett Stone, eh?
No, you mean more
okay.
like Once Upon a Time.
Couple of things to reveal, tidbits, so you guys can start thinking a little bit about it. The ore. Very important thing to be aware of. All the ore veins in the world of Monolith have run out.
Okay.
Okay? A mystery to be solved as part of campaign 2.
Sounds like Fallout or something.
Yeah.
We
Second
have
thing,
an imposter in the group.
Skystall has been rebuilt. Okay?
Oh.
And the party's actual starting location where we begin is going to be in Skystall.
Tarkinen! Please, Tarkinen!
Nope. Sorry.
Okay. No problem. Are we going to visit Tarkinen? Are we going to visit Tarkinen?
You're going to visit most of the cities. You should. Because part of the main quest, which is going to be finding out why the ore has run, the ore itself has become as rare as almost extinct, which means anybody that's got it is going to be hunted.
Thank you, Anthony.
You are most welcome.
No.
Thank you, Anthony.
Okay, few things to be aware of now that you can start thinking about your characters. Any race, any class is open with DM approval, except the artificer.
Wow. Freaking
Wow.
killjoy, right? Jesus, straight up, right?
Yeah.
Like any race, any class, no artificer though. It's like what? Well,
But-
okay, man.
But Gareth, as I said before, it's got to be with my approval. So if you pick a race and a class you want to play, I need to.
Yeah,
check it and see if it
I'm
fits the
choosing
role.
a vampire paladin, oath of oathbreaker with a bloodsucker background, right? Like shit, we
No,
just
no,
go
we
here.
do that. We do that blood cleric van Matt Mercer and we pick vampire, eh?
Oh!
Vampire race.
Yeah, you do. You do, bro.
Guys.
Oh, let's
We do the
open
blood
Aurora,
domain. We
right?
do the blood domain.
100%. I'm opening up Aurora right now.
All vampires we could be avoided.
Yeah.
And Anthony will be like this. Anthony will be like this. Absolutely fucking not.
Yeah. Also, guys, my goal obviously as well with campaign 2 is when it is permissible and things in the world have settled themselves back to normality, face-to-face sessions again.
Yay!
Yeah, that would be more fun.
That's going to be more fun as well. I just don't know how our contingent in Rustenburg are going to deal with that, but that's their problem to bear. Not mine.
Where's our ladies tonight?
No power the whole day today in their area, so they could not have any. They've got no internet connections and flat cell phones, if you did not see the WhatsApp message in the group.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to know about campaign 2 that I can give you before I do session zeros? Anything else you're curious about? The backstories of what's happened with that, that'll be fleshed out once I have the one-on-ones to be able to tell you what I think, what has happened to your character. But if you want, before we end the session tonight, I told you it wasn't going to be a very long one. Why don't we go around the table and everybody give me between a 5 to 10 minute synopsis of where you think your character ended their existence, because obviously they would not be alive for 200 years later unless you're an elf, but then you would be very old. How you felt that from after the battle to the end of existence, what your character got up to.
Wait, we have to do that now?
Yes.
No!
I did
Oh, so
mention
you
that
guys
to
are not prepared. So this 20-page Word document that I have in front of me is going to come into play now, right?
Wow!
I did mention that I wanted to know a vague idea from you guys how you thought it. So because you say, are we doing this now, Gareth, you can go last.
Oh, Jesus.
man.
Wow! Okay! Like, I just thought you wanted us to send us your WhatsApp. Be like, yeah, I think, you know.
No.
Oh.
But what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to ask Lee to tell me what happened to Mafonso.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, Mafonso is a half elf, so he probably would have lasted quite long. But
Yeah, probably around another 100 odd years easily.
yeah. So with the wealth and all the rest of it, he would have joined up with the Thieves Guild to try and make a little bit more money for himself, and still thieve and all the rest of it, and frequented the House of the Gods a lot, looking at their boobies.
I love it.
Probably Mafonso probably died with multiple boobies near him.
Or holding multiple boobies.
Definitely.
Okay. Question: would Mafonso have had any children?
No. He
No.
just wanted lots of playing with boobies. He would not have had any children.
Okay, so based on somebody's comment, a eunuch. Perfect. Anything else you feel that might have an impact on the storyline, or you feel that's pretty much good enough?
More than likely, I don't know where he would have given his money to. The state probably would have taken all his assets.
Probably at some point, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Werner?
Okay, so Archon, obviously this happened in this last session as well. He went to the dragons, of course. I actually think he
remember
actually
the
became a
Dragon
dragon.
Island, which is
yeah.
which, just to point out to you guys, is an optional place to visit in campaign 2.
So he did.
Okay.
He became a dragon eventually, like 1 and 2.
Okay.
He went off to Faerun again to investigate some other dragons and stuff. Like specifically, I think the Shao dragons they're called, because you have a place called Shao, which we're going to discuss in session 0 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Emerson, she actually came to complain when Archon went to the Dragon Island. She was like a support from their side, technically, to help out in the fight, I would say. Archon,
Okay.
yes, definitely did have children, and that's where the lineage went on, yeah. And he's still
great.
alive, obviously, but he's no interest coming back here. He has.
No, obviously not. He's too
He is
too
here
focused
from all
on.
this.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, that
outgrown
and-
all this adventuring.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's what it is now, and yeah, that's about it.
I think that's going to have a nice, interesting spin on it. Mike.
Yo. So I picture it like this.
Yeah.
Vimek accomplished his purpose from his original visions. He did what he was set out to do, and now he has settled with Mix.
Yeah.
And together they have fathered children, and they have started somewhat of a flight ship culture of somewhat very impulsively aggressive, huge humans.
Okay.
Right. So kind of like that's how I came up with the whole thing of the pirate fleet, because I thought that's essentially what they would do. They would live in the skies, and maybe they would raid other criminals and other pirate ships, and there would be more problem than solutions. You know, they're not evil, but they're not necessarily, you know what I'm saying, up to good. They do what they do best.
No, got it.
They seek for the best battles. That's what VMAC would have passed on as lineage.
Okay.
Always seek a good fight.
Sounds interesting. Philip?
So I basically took it this way that after the battle, obviously Sir Daggett Stone and Liesel settled down, and he sired a few kids. But also, he never ever in his life lifted his blade in anger again and fought in no battles again, because he believed at that time that he spilled enough blood. And his faith is maybe the greatest weapon that can be used against evil. Faith in his God, faith in his friends, and faith in himself. So he never lifted up his blade again, but he did manage to come up with what I call the Order of the Brotherhood in
Which we
Tarkinen.
can discuss further in our sessions or discussions.
So we'll do that a little bit better, and what he's done there and what he's done for Tarkinen, I think we can also discuss, because apparently he did have some dough,
Just a bit.
and he didn't really care about after this battle to
Feed the children.
run Tarkinen and things like that. He more look after the well-being of Tarkinen and setting up trade and stuff and things like that, and left all of these decisions to his lovely wife Liesel. And he mostly spent his time training his sons and grandsons and things like that in the art of battle. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it. Otherwise, I'm maybe giving away too much.
Too much. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good enough. Gareth?
Man, wow, 5 minutes is not enough to think, man. So Gimli, I feel would have been rather secluded. He would have still kept in contact with most of his party, or tried to, over the years. But he was still a fairly young dwarf, and he probably would have drifted away as the ages went on. Would anybody still be alive 200 years from then, except for Gimli?
No, I would be dead.
So
Daggerstone definitely dead. VMAC not possible.
VMAC not possible.
Yeah, they live the same amount of years you know. They live the same years
So
you
Archon wouldn't really be, and Lee's character would be dead. So, sorry?
Goliath, as far as I know, he lives about the same times or years as a human, does it not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
70
so
to 1800. Yeah.
70 to 80 years roughly. So,
So
Goliath would definitely not be alive.
I will say this: he died a happy man.
Yeah.
Sure. So
So if you're saying that, then I think the only
doesn't
person
of
would
that
really be
happy man.
alive would be, it would basically be not. It would basically be Archon, but you wouldn't know where Archon is.
true. So yeah, Gimli probably would have eventually found a female dwarf to settle down with and
Do
retire.
you find female dwarfs?
Well, someone to mate with. Let's put it that way. Dwarfish looking.
Someone to have their children with, you know.
Yes. Mate is a nice, mate. Anyway, but no, he would have been rather secluded, kept to himself. Maybe would have had one or two battles. But as he got older, he would have reminisced about, how fearless he was back in the day, and the great allies he fought with, and all that kind of stuff. But he wouldn't have. He would have been quite humble. He wouldn't have. I mean, he would have had money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he pretty much would have retired and just, done things.
Look, I'm also certain that Sir Dagot Stone would have shared a lot of his wealth that he got with you guys, with these party members.
Yeah,
He
but I
would
mean,
have he would have said some of it, not all of it.
Yeah,
He would have shared
but
a
even
vast amount that everybody could live comfortably going forward.
but even without that, shouldn't Gimli be quite wealthy just from the amount of money that he already accumulated and the party accumulated over the years? I mean, if you split that amongst the party,
he probably would have been able. Yeah.
without Sir Dagot's money, you still have been quite a wealthy dwarf.
Yeah, no.
But he's not a greedy dwarf. He is a paladin after all, and he wanted to live a humble life with some good battles and some good ale. And that's about it.
Okay, yeah, that sounds. I actually like that a lot.
Yeah. That's so I think you would have
Give
done.
me some good insight into how you feel your characters would be. Obviously, yeah, I think with everybody's session zeros, we'll flesh out your new characters properly, and I'll start liaising with you guys from tomorrow to set up time slots and everything. But it's basically going to be, most of the time it's going to be 1 o'clock during the day. So those at work, I'm trying to hope it fits in with your lunchtime if possible, so that we don't
Not all
Stick off or something that would be easier.
interfere. The only reason why I've pushed Lee ahead of time is because
Anthony?
Here.
No, Anthony's yeah.
really
R.I.P. Sweet Prince.
take something. Give it a second. The internet is so caca, yeah.
Oof.
Yassas, hello.
Hello.
Yassas.
Yes, sir.
Yassas. Yasu.
Hey, I'm going for my new tattoo on Saturday, man. I can't wait.
Exciting. Bro.
What tattoo are you getting?
better.
Philip?
I'm getting another knight on the other side of my arm.
Oh, okay.
We're starting to gel everything together and things like that. And the castle will go around it at the next session, and we're starting to work my whole medieval theme
Nice.
that I have on my sleeve going here. Dope, I tell you. So,
Okay, nice.
so I'll be playing
Alright,
4
guys.
fighters in the next campaign,
So-
Anthony.
I think I got just connected for a sec.
Why does it sound like he's doing
Uh,
a burp?
Bruh,
Basically,
bruh,
what
bruh,
I s-
bruh.
Right?
Say it is good.
Like there's an element of
Gonna-
faith there. But I know
Right.
it's the leg.
We are thinking. What are you thinking about? That would be an opportune call now, right?
Yeah. All right, guys. As I
Yes,
said, I'll discuss with you your session zeros independently. Other than that, I will leave you guys with one last tidbit about campaign 2. There is an interesting statue or monument that has been erected in Paulsbury Hold. Something to investigate in campaign 2.
Okay, make note of campaign 2.
Yeah. And with that, just one final time, I want to say thanks again to all of you, because without you, the story doesn't exist. The players that you created don't exist. The laughter we have doesn't exist. The tears, when there are tears, don't exist. It's all up to you as the players. I am the DM. I guide and point the direction. You guys are the ones that choose to go or not to go that direction. So I think just the final words for myself, just to thank you guys again. It's been a real pleasure. And I'm quite psyched and pumped and ready for campaign 2. I hope everybody else is going to have as much fun as they did in campaign 1. And I think we've got some new blood joining us, so that's going to also add some interesting dynamics. And yeah, I don't know if anybody else wants to add anything else before we sign off.
Yeah, Anthony, you must give us the maps of the new campaign.
In due course, Lee. In due course, but yes, you will get it. Yeah, you'll get it. Don't worry, you'll get the maps. But it's pretty much the same as you got now. There's just been a couple of new cities and new places that have come up that are important to be aware of.
I wanna add, Anthony, please get us those maps, man.
Yeah, we need
Oh.
maps.
Oh,
We need those
okay.
maps,
And there's there's one final thing we need to just cover. Mike and I've had a discussion on something. Mike has got someone who is prepared to draw your characters, the description of your character into artwork. It's going to require a small contribution from each one of you if you are interested.
Not
Okay,
yet.
Gareth says no. Okay, no.
I
Mike?
want one. Man, why not?
Okay.
Our characters are level 1. They're not going to last long.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
You'd be sup-
we tried this with the other guy that we had that did Gimli and Philip's character. Like,
yeah.
Yep. But
No,
remember,
so
I
you
also offered to pay for
misunderstand,
it.
right?
yeah, right.
So we're saying if you want to, you
Yeah.
don't have to.
Yeah, you're not obligated to. That's why I put it out there. It's not an obligation.
Oh, okay.
I just felt if it's up, it's not. We're not saying you have to go for it. It's entirely up to you, which is why we're throwing it out to the group. You don't have to, but there's a couple of things we'd like to do for the next campaign, which is going to make things a lot easier. But before we
Which we'll
do
do
that,
with
before
or
we go
without
into that,
you.
before we log off completely, I just want to again thank all the people that listen. I know you guys aren't very vocal that listen in, but the views on Facebook and YouTube do show that people are listening in and participating, and the questions that I sometimes get shows that there are people listening. Just to thank you all for listening to our band of misfits enjoy ourselves, and stay tuned for campaign 2. And with that, I'm going to say cheers to everybody until we resume. Potential estimated start date, we're looking to begin around about the 3rd of March. It may be earlier, it may be later. It just depends on my ability to have everything ready on time.
You never know, man. You never know.
Yeah, never know. Okay, and with that, Gareth, you can talk to me anytime you want. There's just one or two things I just want to discuss with you guys before we actually
Cool.
log off.
Cheers, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers,
bye.
thank you,
all.
guys.
Bye.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Are we
Okay.
not live anymore?
We're not live anymore, hey?